Jerem.
At 6:30, call meeting to order. Roll call. Councilwoman Harkins, Councilmember Demo, Councilmember Valero, and Councilwoman Karen Burnett. And myself. Please stand.
Salute flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this time to be together. Let us make wise and well thought out decisions for our town. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Proclamations, recognitions, appointments, and presentations. We have a proclamation. February 2021, Teen Dating Violence and Prevention Month. Maggie Michael, Empower Tehama Domestic Violence Victims Advocate, will be present to accept the proclamation.
Proclamation, February 2021, as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, Awareness and Prevention Month. Whereas although progress has been made toward breaking the cycle of violence and providing support to victims and their families, much work remains to be done. Whereas teen dating violence, also known as dating abuse, is a serious and growing problem throughout California, and teen dating violence intervention and prevention programs can help to ensure a positive school climate, promote a safe learning environment for all pupils, address warning signs before behavior escalates, and protect the safety of targeted students. And whereas each year, an estimated 1 in 10 American teenagers are physically hurt on purpose by a boyfriend or girlfriend, and according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nearly 10% of high school students have been hit, slapped, or physically hurt on purpose by a boyfriend or girlfriend in the past year. And whereas according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dating Matters, strategies to promote healthy teen relationships, 1 in 4 adolescents report verbal, emotional, physical, or sexual dating abuse each year. And whereas victims of teen dating violence are more likely than their non-abused peers to be truant, drop out, engage in risky sexual behaviors, become pregnant, smoke, use drugs, engage in unhealthy dieting, and attempt or consider suicide. And whereas nearly half of students who experience dating violence have reported that some of the abuse took place on school grounds. And whereas the establishment of Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month will benefit schools, communities, families, and all youth. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Corning proclaims February 2021 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month in the City of Corning. We urge all citizens to work together towards ending teen dating violence by empowering young people to develop healthier relationships and assisting victims in assessing the information and supportive services needed.
Thank you very much. I would just today, I was helping a young woman who was in her late 20s get a restraining order. And I asked her, when did the violence start? And she said, I started dating him when I was 14, and that's when the violence started. And it broke my heart. It does every time. I do want to tell you about some of the things we have going on this month. If you have teenagers around, please encourage them to go on Facebook and Instagram. We have competitions where they can earn Dutch Brothers coffee cards and things like that. We have the Love Is campaign, and we also have different other campaigns that they can actually win prizes for. I wish we were doing more in Corning, but we aren't there. We don't have a grant for the Corning schools. But we are very active with teens in Red Bluff. Even during COVID, we've been able to meet with them. And so if you have any teenagers that could use our help, please have them contact us. And we would really appreciate being able to help them. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to have you, see I'm wearing orange, and you have orange in your flag. Thank you. Good night.
All right, moving on. Number 2, we got a COVID-19 update from the city manager.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. I'll try to keep this pretty brief. First, I wanted to address, just really quickly, more of an announcement I know that I brought to the council's attention last meeting, the potential utilization of the coronavirus relief funds rounds 2 and 3. What I really want to give the message of is this is such an evolving situation. So new this week is with the coronavirus rounds 2 and 3 funds, if we utilize the same programming from the coronavirus relief 1 funds, which the county is still waiting on the agreement from the state to administer, that it would delay that program further. So the county does not want the cities to put more funds towards the economic development or the micro business assistance. So I will be bringing a staff item back to council, as I need to do anyhow to get a resolution passed. I just want to kind of keep you in the loop of what's going on because it is an evolving situation. So within that, moving on, FEMA has rolled back some previous decision-making that will allow us to receive reimbursement for expenditures that previously were deemed ineligible. So that will be beneficial to the city. So I will, long story short, be moving pots around. Just expect a report from staff as such as a result of all these changes. Within that, in Tehama County, the case rate and the positivity rate have been decreasing, but we are still in the purple here. The testing positivity rate is 13.8, and the case rate per 100,000 people is 36.9. It is dropping, which is a good thing. Val Lucera, Public Health, from King County Health Services Agency. It's not clear whether this is from a drop in testing or from an actual drop in infection rate. In short, they are focusing a lot of their efforts towards vaccination. The My Turn Act, which is the state's system for scheduling COVID vaccinations, will be live. It looks like it will be on February 18th. There will be a gap period where you will not be allowed to schedule a vaccination between the county system and the state system getting live so they can integrate those appointments. So beginning February 18th, you can expect, if you haven't already done so, to be able to make your appointment through the My Turn app, which we will make sure to put a link to that from the Corning.org website.
Now, is that going to be open to everybody, Christine, or is it still going to be tiered?
So you won't be able to, it won't allow you to schedule an appointment unless it's your peer's turn.
Okay.
But you will be able to put in enough information that they will then notify you of when it is your time to
Okay.
schedule an appointment.
Thank you.
As reported by Val Lucero, their biggest problem right now is not having enough vaccine. They have received 6,560 doses thus far. They've administered 4,542 doses. They have approximately 2,100 doses as of this morning. And they have 800 appointments scheduled this week, 1,300 appointments scheduled the following week, and 1,400 appointments scheduled for the week of the 23rd. They've scheduled thus far between first appointments and second appointments a total of 13,105 appointments, which was a considerable jump from last week where they had 5,800 appointments scheduled. So they're getting faster at scheduling the appointments. Part of that is thankfully due to the National Guard coming in, and they are completely caught up on their contact tracing, so they're able to reallocate those resources that were previously assigned to contact tracing to scheduling appointments for vaccination. So that is moving forward. But as I said before, their biggest barrier right now is the amount of vaccine available. They do anticipate that will increase. As the federal government has indicated in March, she stated that they could, or they have the capacity to vaccinate 3,200 individuals per week. And right now, due to limitations and availability, they are vaccinating 800 to 900 individuals per week. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. All right, public comments and business from the floor. Is anybody from the audience that would like to speak on an item that is not already on the agenda? And we will skip right along to the consent agenda. It is recommended the items listed in the consent agenda be acted on simultaneously unless a council member or members of the audience request separate discussion and/or action. Number 4, waive readings by title of any ordinance under consideration at this meeting for either introduction or passage per Government Code Section 36934. Waive the reading and approve the minutes of the January 26, 2021 meeting with any necessary corrections. Number 6, February 3rd, 2021 claim warrant in the amount of $361,893.79. Item number 7, February 3rd, 2020 business license report. Item 8, January 2021 wages and salaries, $383,393.37. Number 9, January 2021 treasurer's report. Item 10, January 2021 building permit valuation report in the amount of $7,249,334. Item 11, January 2021 City of Corning wastewater operation summary report. Item 12, adopt resolution number 02-09-2021-01, accepting the $100,000 2020-2021 California Citizens Options for Public Safety Grant. And item 13, appoint Tony Cardenas as a nuisance abatement code enforcement hearing officer. Are there any items that any member of the audience or council would like to remove for further discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I move we accept the consent agenda items 4 through 13.
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So pass unanimous. Public hearings and meetings, there are none. Regular agenda. Item 13, authorize staff to seek requests for proposals, RFPs, for services to provide a comprehensive user and development impact fees study.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. This was one of the goals for staff this year, but as part of that, periodically, the city should review and evaluate its development impact fees and document the methodology supporting such fees to create what is called a nexus, which is essentially to ensure that the fees being assessed fairly reflect the cost of fees charged for each service, and also reflect future infrastructure needs as a result of growth. Collecting these fees provides the funding necessary to construct and install backbone infrastructure necessary to serve the new development. The premise behind these fees is that current residents shouldn't have to pay for the cost or shouldn't be responsible for the cost of expanding infrastructure to accommodate new development. So within that, council can always decide to adopt fees that are less than the actual cost of providing public services. Within that, they should take caution that doing such is at the risk of the standards of infrastructure declining over time. So there is risk in doing such. The last Nexus study report was performed in 2013, which was based on a comprehensive study being performed in 2005. So the last comprehensive study we've done is in 2005, which begs the question of a need for a Nexus if we were ever to be challenged on our development impact fees. So within that, I also included within the RFP the analysis or potential analysis as an option of a fee study. This is optional, of course, but one of the things I've noticed as staff of the city, that some of the work that staff do, let's say code enforcement, hopefully with our new nuisance abatement process, I do anticipate that our staff costs administrating those nuisance abatement procedures will decline, but within that, right now, we're not ascertaining any fees for staff time to abate those nuisances. When those, perhaps it could be a motivating factor down the road if the person that was creating the nuisance had also had to pay for staff time. Within that, it's also been a considerable length of time since any of the other fees that the city assesses has been addressed. Of course, these are completely optional, and the city can pick and choose which fees it wants to review as part of the user fee study. But I would recommend that all development impact fees be reviewed. And the proposal is requesting consultants the request for proposals was drafted in such a way that consultants will state the hourly rates that they will charge for services. So we have the ability to pick and choose which user fee studies that we would like them to work on. Within that, the consultant will also survey fees within similar towns and cities. They will develop an electronic comprehensive user fee rate adjustment model so that it can be increased over time. When you only do your Nexus study every 5-10 years and don't increase it over the years, you end up becoming behind because your assessment hasn't increased since that time. So since we haven't done any increases since 2013, inflationary costs increase about 2.6% each year. So you multiply that over 7 years, just by pure math, our rates would be about 21% lower than where they should be. They will attend a kickoff meeting, they will organize staff, they will help staff identify methodology to analyze these fees, and they will provide and review supporting findings with city staff. What I want to point out is, in the end, it's council's determination of the fees that they want to assess. You can always charge less than the cost of providing the service, but you cannot charge more than the cost of providing the service. So within that, I'm more than happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Yeah, I think it's something we need to proceed with.
Yeah, it's been, 7-8 years since we've had a study. And every time we talk to somebody about building in Corning, they always want to complain about our fees. I would love to have this study done so we can look at side-by-side comparisons with other communities, and then we can see where we're actually at. If we are undercharging, if we're right at the max of where we should be, if there's room for us to give a little more, I think it's beneficial on both sides for us to proceed with this.
Yeah, and I will state that, during the 2013 Nexus study, they were actually able, and I'm not going to say that we may be able to do that this time, but they were actually able to reduce one of the development impact fees because the city had received the grant for community park that lowered the amount of funds necessary that would be needed to develop a park in the future because we had already purchased that park. So in some instances, it's not necessarily always an increase, it's really looking at what the costs are today.
Anybody else have any other comments or questions? No.
So this,
Good.
so this is just to determine where we're at with everyone else? Or,
Well,
comparing,
that will be one component of it. The other component is looking at what our actual costs are. So not just as a comparison, but also what are our costs as a city to provide that infrastructure moving forward.
and we'll use that as whether.
As a basis
Okay.
of moving forward upon council consideration.
Anybody got anything else? If not, do I have a motion?
I move mayor and council authorize staff to seek requests for proposals for consultant services to provide comprehensive user and development impact fees study for the development of a city master fee schedule.
The second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So passed unanimous. All right, moving down. Item J14, consider approval of addendum to agreement with New Singular Wireless PCS LLC for generator ground lease space.
Thank you,
Christine?
Honorable Mayor and Council. City staff have negotiated an extension to the agreement. I'm going to call it AT&T, even though they, in the contract, are referred to as Singular Wireless, so excuse me. But within that, AT&T needed an additional 930, or a total of 932 square feet for their equipment. The reason for this being is that they needed to place a Generac standby diesel generator on the site to provide backup power as a result of the PSPS power shutoff in order to maintain internet service for their customers. So within that, the prior agreement was originally negotiated back in the year 2000. It's quite old. It was a 30-year agreement. At the time that it was originally negotiated, I don't think anybody had the foresight to believe that there would be anything more than one antenna on the tower. And so the agreement was drafted to allow as much equipment on the tower as they would desire. So within this new agreement, it does require AT&T to negotiate with the city increase in rent should they desire to add additional equipment. It does not provide any additional compensation to the city if they're just switching out equipment. It also increases the rent paid to the city by $2,200 per month, and it will increase 3% annually thereafter. We did negotiate one additional 5-year renewal term, which will allow this agreement to expire on August 29th, 2035. It increases commercial general liability insurance provided to the city from $2.5 million to $3 million on a current basis, for a current basis. And within that, I know that AT&T is more than ready to move forward with placing the generator on the site, and I recommend council approve the agreement as negotiated.
Anybody have any questions or concerns, comments?
No, it's just something that needs to be done with, like they said, with PG&E shutting power off periodically. I don't know what we're gonna do when they make us go all green though and they can't run their generator. But,
Yeah.
no, I think it's something needs to happen.
And I'm going to assume, I was looking at these diagrams, and maybe it's my poor eyesight, is the generator going to be placed at the base of the water tower, underneath the water tower, off to the side?
It's off to the side, and I can't speak to that in its entirety. What I can say is Robin and Steve have looked at the site that was proposed, and they are in agreement with the
That it's-
location.
It's be out of the way for any access we need to, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very much in favor of keeping the internet on, because it's a lifeline for a lot of people when the power's out, so. Was there anybody else got any concerns or comments? If not, do I have a motion?
I make a motion that the mayor and city council approve the proposed agreement with New Singular Wireless PCS LLC as presented and authorize the city manager to sign the agreement.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So passed unanimous. All righty. Items placed on the agenda from the floor, none. Communications, correspondence, and information? None. Reports from mayor and council members. Councilwoman Hargens?
I have nothing.
That's all right. Mr. Demo?
I have not had any meetings to attend myself either.
Karen?
I went to a executive board meeting for the landfill, and it was very interesting. The new laws that we're going to have to implement, Dave's been talking about them for a couple of years, and they're even more confounding than he made them sound.
I tried to simplify it for you, Karen. Because I didn't really understand it either.
Chewy?
None.
Well, I attended no meetings yet this month either, so if there is nothing else, meeting adjourned. Hey. Boom.
Did you check your box?